So I have an action item today instead of an actual inspiration. Now this is from Think and Grow Rich in 10 minutes a day. And this is a challenge that my other mastermind groups are doing. And we're in the preface. And the action item is identify your definite major purpose. Phil says you must know what you want in order to get the most out of this book. What is your definite major purpose, your chief aim, and most profound desire? And when you can think about that and really become clear on it, write it down, and that will be your number one. If you already know all the details of it, that's even better. If you need to stop and visualize it and imagine it coming through, stop and do that. But what is that number one desire that we really have? You know, that major purpose. Is it something to do with the children? Is it family in general? Is it something bigger than that? Is it for yourself? So any reflection on that, or anybody that has one already or is currently working on it that would like to share, or if they've already read the book, what your thoughts have been on it.
What's coming for me is that well, the word imagine is sticking with me because I have been, maybe up until now, the type of person that, like, I don't feel like I have a really great imagination. So the word imagination is sticking with me from what you were just sharing. And so what I gather is this is an extension from the, like, Think and Grow Rich book. This is another Think and Grow Rich book, right?
So it is all the same tools. It's just taking the major concepts and putting it into a smaller context that's focused for smaller chapters, more direct, and has like the bold elements, kind of like the Cliff Note version, right? Where
Okay.
it's a little bit easier to accomplish in one day, where you can read a chapter a day and take that action, versus, you know, the original book. I feel there's so much more stuff in there that you have to digest and work through, that it kind of takes away from the original question. So like it's really direct and straight to the point.
Okay, that definitely sounds like something I need to go buy today, because I started re-digesting the original book, and, like, I'm literally taking, like, a few minutes of listening on audio and then, like, taking massive notes and, like, diving into it, because that's how I do things. So I'm definitely gonna go get that. But the immediate thing that came to my mind, aside of, like, imagine, is that the one thing that I said since I was 12 is that I knew I wanted to teach my kids through life experiences, and that I'm excited to really get clear to know, is that my profound purpose? So I'm excited about that. Thank you for sharing that.
Awesome. Well, we are at 10 after. If you do have something to share, we will pick that back up at the 10 to the hour. Amy, enjoy your time. And if you have anything to add, you can always add it to the chat.
Can you just share the book again?
Oh, yeah.
In 10 minutes a day. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You bet. And I will share the book again. So Think and Grow Rich in 10 Minutes a Day, Napoleon Hill. Like I said, it's similar to like Cliff Notes, very direct and to the point, has action items. And the main action item for the preface is identify your definite major purpose. Hill says you must know what you want in order to get the most out of this book. What is your definite major purpose, your chief aim, and most profound desire? So when you think about your purpose and what you are intending to do, how clear are you in that purpose? Are you extremely clear? Is it a little cloudy? Is it not even written down? Are you waffling in your purpose that you don't even know what it is? Those are all things that we need to focus on and get the clarity we need. Make sure that our goals and our vision match up with the purpose. So what is your dream? What is your imagination to help with that number one definite purpose? Nancy, did you have anything to share with that?
So it's funny because I feel like I've done this exercise so many times, right? And I come back to similar things, right? And yet when I'm asked, I can never really say the one thing it is. And so that makes me think, like, am I not quite there yet? You know, like I come back to, I think of what is my purpose is to bring, kind of, love and respect into the world, right? And like to help people. My purpose is really, genuine self, right? To help people live a genuine life. But I feel like it's so much. I mean, I just have like 22 ways I can say it instead of what's the one thing, right?
Yeah.
So, anybody else struggle with that?
Oh, all the time. And it's not just in business, but it's, how clear am I even when I give instruction or give a direction to someone else or ask them to do something? Am I clear and definite on my outcome that I want? And I think that plays together with personal life.
Oh, you froze on me.
Oh, am I back?
Yeah, you are now.
Okay. If you're not clear for personal life, you're not going to be clear with business life because it's all kind of mumbled together. And, you have to have a clear path, right? Like a clear direction to move in, even though it might not be fully developed, but like my purpose is to be on this earth for X, Y, Z. And that's the end result. It's just a matter of how many turns and pivots you're taking along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'll say, my purpose is to draw out your genuine self, or to be like, my purpose is to be my genuine self and help you be yours too, right? I mean, I've got like so many different ways that I say it, but I think, purpose is all about acceptance and love and respect. I don't know. I always come back to the word acceptance.
Oh, that's interesting. Accepting, so it's almost like you haven't accepted something in the past or in the present that's holding that back of accepting what this new dream is or this new purpose that you're trying to develop.
Oh, yeah, that is interesting, right? Like, I mean, the whole thing is about, and I think the reason my whole thing is about acceptance is because I want to be accepted, right? And so it's important for me that others feel accepted.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
one
huh.
of the quotes in the preface is, "Man can create nothing which he does not first conceive in the form of an impulse of thought." So then we're going back to the imagination, the dream, the idea. So it cannot be created unless we first think about it and conceive it in our imagination, our thought. And that's the whole point of our dreams, is drawing us to that purpose and drawing us to make that decision of what it really is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we have, oh, we don't. Never mind. We will pause and we'll pick. So our second hour of inspiration comes from Mr. Ziegler's Daily Insights.
Thanks.
And so today's Bible verse and inspiration is Philippians 3:7-8. And it's talking about on second thought. So what things were gained to me, these I have counted loss for Christ. Yet indeed I also count all things loss for the excellence of the knowledge of Christ Jesus my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and count them as rubbish, that I may gain Christ. And the inspiration from it is from Ike Reiner. And God has a way of turning what you formerly treasured into trash. And what you once trashed becomes your most precious treasures. And I thought about that after I read it this morning, and I was like, oh my goodness, how many times have we thought about something that we had just tossed away or put in the junk drawer, and it actually became something that we really needed? Or if it was a book we read 10 years ago, and all of a sudden we thought, oh my gosh, where is that thing? Did I put it? Did I throw it away? I really want to reread it. It's become more prevalent now, or I understand some other areas. And what does that look like in our life? And why does God have a tendency to have some things leave for us to learn a lesson that we should be valuing everything? So thinking about our own inspiration, how we can come through what we value in our families, in our business, in ourselves, and what does that look like? Do we shove some of the things of our own value to the side to gather something else that we think is more valuable when it's really not, and we are brought back to the original? So that would be my little inspiration. And we We are at 10 after, so we will see you at 10 to the hour. And this reminder is from Daily Insights from Mr. Ziegler. August 31st, inspirational quote was, God has a way of turning what you formerly treasured into trash, and what you once trashed becomes your most precious treasures. And that was from Ike Reinhard. And the reading from that day was Philippians 3:7-8. So any reflection or anything else to mastermind about today?
I just love that because it's so true as we evolve, what things I used to treasure that I no longer care about. It's just like, I mean, my big thing used to be, oh, I'm going to go crafting and find new things to put on my wall, and I'm going to redecorate my house every year, and now I'm like, I can't tell you the last time I redecorated my house. It doesn't matter. I'd much rather be creating experiences, with my family, right? It's like, I don't know what I was thinking, but that's part of the evolution, right? I just love that. And, same with just so many things that we think are important. And then it comes back to your why and your purpose. What about this is really, really matters to you?
Yes, absolutely. I love the fact that you shared, the decorating, because that used to be a huge thing for me for holidays. And gosh, I haven't decorated for a holiday and I don't know how long. And now if you want a Christmas tree up, my husband, he's got to do it. So it's not a top priority anymore. So it's so weird on how that comes together. Mhm. Any other reflection or anything else we'd like to mastermind on?
Well, I would love to pick this group's brain. Speaking of that, what used to be important and is now more trash, and what really is important to me. I would love to pick your brain on what I'm putting together for the pillar of my legacy pillar on my website. So I just got to pull this up. And I'm realizing I haven't saved this document, but I want to read this to you because
Save and save often.
yes, right. So this is just like my first draft of like kind of just blah, right? But what I'm thinking is there'll be a picture of me and a group in the farmhouse, and then on the image it's going to say the farmhouse, but then like around the image, like maybe in a circle, it's going to say legacy above the circular image. And then the script underneath it is going to say something like, what's your legacy? Mine is to share the love, respect, and community that was originally built in my family farmhouse. I call it the place for space and grace. I call it that for a reason. It's a place to explore, a space to create. When you are at the farmhouse, you can be yourself and invite, and I put community in, I have to work on that. It's a space to create your future best self, the space to create your future best business, the space to create your future best life. Any thoughts on that and how I can articulate that?
Go ahead, Susie.
I love that you called it, that you said, I call it a space for grace, and like that you're saying what you call it, and then you're giving an example of that. It might be kind of cool to hear something about before you, like that your family has built the commitment, and you had that piece in there about your family before, like that it's built there. So maybe even a little bit more about that, and then like how it can be. I like what you had. And there was something in my head, but my head is still foggy. So but it sounds good what you have. Like I love that it's about the legacy, because that really is, I mean, how many years? That might be good too, to put how many years the farmhouse has been in your family.
Yeah.
Maybe the established date. Like on my dad's farm, we have the established date of the farm.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the circle concept.
Yep.
And it really leads me to the growth cycle of sowing, harvesting, or nourishing, harvesting.
Yeah. I do. Yes. Thank you for reminding me of that, because that's something that I put, in my book and, nourish your soul is a big piece of it. I'm trying to be a little careful, because I also want the space to be a place for businesses. So, to come and do their planning, and get creative that way. So I want to be a little careful that it's not too
Yeah.
individualized.